Buffalo Bills, they're getting ready for a really big game this weekend against the Detroit Lions. And the return of Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid from injury, I think, could change the game.
It is a big boost for the Bills. I mean, especially because they are facing the league-leading Lions. It's not just about their talent as individuals, but how their presence will change the whole offense.
So what exactly changes for the Bills when Coleman and Kincaid are back?
Well, with Coleman, he can get down the field. He forces defenses to respect his speed, and that opens up opportunities for the other receivers, especially Stephon Diggs. When Coleman was out, the defenses focused on Diggs, which made him less effective.
Okay. What about Kincaid's impact? He seems to have fit in pretty well at tight end.
Well, Kincaid gives them a target in the middle of the field. He's dangerous in the red zone. When he's on the field, the Bills can use more two tight end sets, and that creates mismatches against the linebackers and safeties. And don't forget, defenses have had trouble covering tight ends all season.
You're right about that. It's interesting that you brought that up because the Lions defense has had a hard time with tight ends. So could this be a big advantage for the Bills?
It certainly could be. I mean, if Kincaid can take advantage of those matchups, it could be a rough game for the Lions defense. We can't forget about the Lions offense, though. I mean, they're averaging 35 points a game, the best in the league. And they're tough to defend because their attack is so balanced.
And their offensive line has been so strong. Their running backs are consistently getting yards. And then their play action passing off that run game is super effective.
Yeah, and, their quarterback is playing like an MVP this year. He's making smart decisions, getting the ball to a lot of different receivers. It's going to be a tough one for the Bills defense, even though they have a reputation for being strong.
The Bills defense is going to have to play almost perfectly if they want to contain the Lions offense.
Yeah.
They need to put pressure on the quarterback and tackle well in the open field.
Yeah, a key factor will be how the Bills secondary handles the Lions receivers. The Lions have a deep receiving core with a lot of talent. They can make plays after the catch. The Bills' secondary is good, but they'll have to be careful not to give up any big plays.
This game against the Lions is a big one, but the Bills also need to think about the bigger picture, securing the #1 seed in the AFC. Can you explain to our listeners why the #1 seed is so important?
Well, the #1 seed gives you a lot of advantages. Home field advantage throughout the playoffs is huge in football, and it also means you get a bye week. That means the team can rest and recover while everyone else is fighting it out in the wild card round.
You're right. That extra week of rest is really important, especially since the Bills have had some key injuries this season. But even looking past this week's game and the #1 seed, the Bills actually have a pretty good schedule for the rest of the season. They play the Patriots and Jets twice in their last 4 games. Those divisional games could be really important for keeping their momentum going into the playoffs.
Those games against the Patriots and Jets, those could be trap games. They haven't had the best seasons, but divisional games are always tough. They'll be looking to cause an upset.
It's true. Divisional games always have a different feel to them. So while the Bills are in a good spot to get a high seed, they can't afford to take any opponent lightly. Every win from here on out is important for building momentum and making sure they're in top shape for the playoffs.
Yeah, they'll have to stay focused and keep that intensity up, especially now that Coleman and Kincaid are back.
It does make you think about how their return might affect the team dynamic. They were playing well without them. Now the offense has to adjust to having them back in the mix. Do you think it could mess up their rhythm at all?
That's definitely something to watch for. Ideally, the Bills can bring them back in smoothly and use their strengths to take their game to another level.
Yeah, it's a tough balancing act for the coaching staff. They need to use their returning players well, but also keep the whole team playing together.
It will be interesting to see if they can strike that balance. Now, shifting our focus back to the Lions game, I believe their offensive line is the key to their success. They've paved the way for a dominant running game and given their quarterback ample time to make plays.
That offensive line is a formidable unit. They've been healthy all season and have developed a strong chemistry. It will be a real test for the Bills' defensive front, who are known for their ability to get to the quarterback.
The Bills' front four will need to win the battle in the trenches if they want to disrupt the Lions' rhythm on offense. If they can generate pressure and force the quarterback into making quick decisions, that could swing the momentum in their favor.
We also can't underestimate the importance of containing the Lions' running backs. If they can establish a consistent ground game, it will open up even more opportunities for their play-action passing attack.
The Bills' linebackers will need to play disciplined football and fill the gaps correctly. One missed tackle could lead to a big play. It's a chess match between the two teams' schemes and personnel.
It sounds like this game could come down to which team can impose their will on the other. Will the Bills' defense be able to slow down the Lions' high-powered offense? Or will the Lions' offensive line control the game?
That's the big question. The Lions have a clear advantage in terms of offensive firepower, but the Bills have a reputation for playing tough, physical defense. It will be fascinating to see which unit prevails.
Beyond the on-field matchups, coaching could also play a significant role in this game. Both Sean McDermott and Dan Campbell are known for their ability to motivate their players and make in-game adjustments.
Both coaches are excellent strategists and have proven track records. I expect to see some creative play calling and perhaps a few surprises as they try to gain an edge over the other.
It's intriguing to consider how McDermott might approach this game defensively. Will he focus on blitzing to disrupt the Lions' passing game or opt for a more conservative approach, trying to contain their running game and force them into longer passing situations?
I anticipate a mix of both strategies. McDermott is known for his adaptability, and he'll adjust his game plan based on how the Lions are attacking. He might start with a more conservative approach, then dial up the pressure if needed.
The chess match between these two coaches will be a fascinating subplot to the game itself. Their decisions could ultimately determine the outcome of this crucial matchup.
Absolutely. It's a battle of wits between two of the best coaches in the league, and I'm confident it will be a tightly contested game.
Looking beyond this game, the Bills face the Patriots in their next matchup. The Patriots, despite not being in contention for a playoff spot, always present a challenge, particularly within the division.
The Patriots always play the Bills tough. They have a strong defense and a coach who knows how to exploit weaknesses. It's a game the Bills cannot afford to overlook.
The Bills' offense will need to be sharp and efficient against the Patriots' defense. Turnovers and penalties could be costly, especially in a divisional game where emotions run high.
The Patriots have a history of making life difficult for opposing quarterbacks. The Bills' offensive line will need to protect their quarterback and give him time to make plays.
It's also worth noting that the Patriots always seem to have an extra level of motivation when they play the Bills. They may not be in the playoff hunt, but they would love nothing more than to derail the Bills' momentum.
Absolutely. They'll be playing with a chip on their shoulder, and the Bills need to be prepared for a physical, hard-fought game.
The Bills' following two games are against the Jets, another divisional opponent known for their physicality and resilience. These back-to-back games against the Jets could be pivotal for the Bills' playoff seeding.
The Jets have a young, talented team that is still finding its identity, but they are capable of pulling off an upset. The Bills can't afford to take them lightly.
These late-season divisional games are often unpredictable and can come down to the wire. Momentum and execution in these crucial moments will be essential for the Bills as they look to secure a favorable playoff position.
The Bills will need to be at their best to navigate these challenging divisional matchups. The outcome of these games could have significant implications for the AFC playoff picture. These divisional matchups are always a test for any team, especially this late in the season when the pressure is really on. But the Bills, even with these tough games ahead, they're in a good spot to go far in the playoffs.
They have a talented roster, a good coaching staff, and their quarterback is playing at an MVP level. But like we've been talking about, nothing is guaranteed in the NFL.
Yeah.
Every game, every opponent, it's a challenge.
The most important thing for the Bills is consistency. They need to stay focused and play with intensity every week. If they can do that, they'll be a very dangerous team in the playoffs.
Yeah, and we've seen what they could do this season, especially when they beat those top teams. But we've also seen them be inconsistent, and that's something they need to work on if they want to achieve their goals.
Exactly. They've got to get rid of those mental errors and costly mistakes. Those can hurt even the best teams. It's all about discipline, playing smart, fundamental football, especially when the pressure's on.
It's going to be interesting to see how they handle the pressure and expectations with the playoffs coming up. Can they deal with the spotlight and perform when it really counts?
That's the question that will decide their fate. Talent isn't enough. They need to be mentally strong, bounce back from setbacks, and truly believe that they can succeed.
In the end, it comes down to executing their game plan, making adjustments when they need to, and stepping up when the stakes are high.
The Bills have everything they need to be successful, but it's up to them to use it all and show that they can compete with the best when it really matters.
We've covered a lot today, from this week's game against the Lions to the bigger playoff picture and how far the Bills could go.
It's been a really insightful discussion. We analyzed the factors that will be important for the Bills as the season goes on.
I always appreciate your insights and your analysis. It really helps to break down the complexities of the game and understand the Bills' journey better.
I'm always happy to share my thoughts.
Goodbye, and see you in the next video.